Welcome to the Guide Me Glow podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Tang, and I'm a holistic health coach that is here to help you become your glowier self mentally, physically, and spiritually. I'm a lifestyle and wellness content creator and founder of the wellness platform Guide Me Glow. In this podcast, I share my journey and knowledge on all things self-development, manifesting, confidence, healing your relationship with food and body, and so much more. Follow for weekly episodes to listen to on your Glow Girl walk. Hi guys, welcome back to a new episode of the Guide Me Glow podcast. I'm so excited to be recording today. I've been planning on recording all week, and the plans have been planning and I literally did not have the time. So today I was like, no, today's the day. I'm going to set the day free so I can record a podcast episode for you guys and keep myself accountable to uploading weekly episodes. And my goal is to upload 2 episodes a week. So hopefully we can keep that going. And to be honest, I feel super excited and motivated to keep going with these podcast episodes. And yeah, I'm getting amazing feedback from you girls who are really enjoying the episodes. I just want to create a really cute group of glow girls and make this a little community and just kind of share our experiences. And you can also comment or send me DMs. You can join the glow club and you can write your experience and we can all just support each other. And that's all, to be honest, all I want. And that is one of my big whys, is to create a community of like-minded creative girlies, girls that have strong boundaries, high standards, they have high goals and they want to just go for them, but also they have a soft feminine side and they love fashion and they love beauty and they love cute girl dinners and just aesthetic things, and are super talented and they're creative, starting their own businesses. And these type of people are my people. So if you're that kind of girl, you have found the right podcast, because that is what we are here and that is the community that I'm creating. And if you want to be more involved with a community like this and also keep accountable with your daily wellness habits and mindset and level up in every area, then join the Glow Club. It is a monthly membership subscription and there's content inside from affirmations, meditations, journal prompts, recipes, and it's just something to really keep you accountable for becoming the best version of yourself, and also pep talks. And yeah, it's just a really nice thing to have and definitely keep you accountable for this year as well, if your goal is just become the best version of yourself. In this episode though, we'll be talking about the journey of where do you even start. Where do you start from? Say if you're starting from zero and you want to have a life where you have a life of freedom, where you can travel wherever you want, where you can live wherever you want, where your job is something that you are so insanely passionate about and you're able to make money from it, you're able to impact people from it, and you're also able to keep a really balanced, healthy mindset and body. Because there is no point having the most successful business career and your mental health and your mindset and your body is just crippling. No, you can have it all, but it just takes time to build step by step. And so I'm going to share with you a little bit about my journey, because it's been a while since I've talked about my journey. And, I have a lot of new people here as well who have followed me only since the Bali days, to be honest. But my journey has been long. My journey has been over 10 years for sure, to figuring out myself, from figuring out what I wanted to do professionally, from figuring out where I wanted to live and what felt good, to figuring out the friendships I have and just the type of life I want and the type of person I want to be. Because the amount that I've developed and the amount that I'm still developing, and the way I can just see myself and call myself out and see the shadow side of me and see triggers of me so easily now is crazy. And it's a good thing, because self-awareness is the number one thing. It means that you can just acknowledge and give yourself grace for who you are now, because the whole reason why you might have these certain habits or, ways of reacting is due to the past, which you cannot change anymore. But the fact that you want to change and you can change and you're taking steps to change is amazing. So just give yourself that bit of grace and acknowledgement and self-acceptance too, because one of the themes this year for me especially is to just accept like every part of myself and every part of my journey and where I am now, because without fully accepting yourself now and loving where you are now, it's going to be harder to change, because you don't want to change out of hate. You want to change out of love, because you love yourself so much that you want to change and you want yourself to be better and keep going. Before we start, I want to give you guys a little affirmation of the day. And the affirmation of the day is, every action I take today aligns me with abundance, freedom, and my highest potential. And I love this affirmation of the day because I just feel like when you are so intentional of your everyday actions and what you want to do, I feel like everything you do is taking you close to your goals. Like, I literally thought this before, as I was setting up to record this episode. I was like, everything I'm doing is taking me close to my goals. Whether it is even resting, that's taking me to my goals because it's giving myself more, peace and is able for me to reflect more, and that's towards my goals. Working out is taking me towards my goals because it's taking me closer towards my fitness and health goals. Doing this podcast is taking me closer towards my career goals, and my creative goals. Like, everything you do, you have to think, is this taking me closer to my goal or further away from my goal? Because if you're doing things that it's taking you further away from your dream self, from your goals, like that gap is just going to become wider and wider. Because this is what happens, right? You start a habit and it's not a good habit, and you're like, I'm only doing this during this stressful period of my life because it's helping, obviously, me soothe. It's self-soothing, right? But then ask yourself, when is there ever not something stressful going on in your life? Like, that is just life. Things are always happening. Things are always moving. It's never going to be perfect. And just when you think it is, something else will happen. And that is okay. And that is the beauty of life. It's polarity. Where there is good, there's also bad. And it helps you build, and it helps you grow, and it helps you, learn to deal with these situations around you so you can still remain centered and calm. I feel like that is just the test of life. Life is always going to throw things at you. Life is always going to, give you the most unexpected things, and the test is for you to still remain at peace. The test is for you to still remain calm and centered and authentic to yourself. Like, that is the one test that the universe is serving you. If these things are coming at you and you're choosing to do it to self-soothe with a bad habit, say this is like drinking a lot of alcohol, say this is smoking, say, like, we know it's not good for you. Like, come on, let's be real, it's not good for you, and it's not good for your soul either. We can glamorize it all we want, and we can just say like it's not that deep, blah blah, but it kind of is, and you start with one habit like this, or maybe it's overeating, binge eating, whatever it is that you do. It's just going to continue, and it's honestly just going to get harder and harder if you keep doing it. So what you can do, which will be, yes, more confronting, yes, probably more work, but is to look within and actually just create some stillness and silence in your life. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Ask yourself, what is it in me that felt neglected? What is it in me that, felt like I was not enough? And then learn to then take some steps backwards and learn to soothe yourself. What is in your little glow toolbox that you can use to soothe yourself? And I mentioned this in the previous episode because I just think when something is kind of going wrong or you're not getting the results that you thought you want, and to be honest, you probably manifest that too, because that is your reality, and I feel it, I get you. I kind of have had a day where I kind of felt like, nothing is really going wrong, and I was kind of beating myself up about it a little bit with some not negative self-talk, but just self-talk that was not uplifting towards myself. It was kind of being like, you could do better, like why, kind of thing, but in a way that's not productive. And we all have moments like that. It doesn't mean that we're bad. I think we're just human, and we always want to see ourselves do better. But when we have days like this, especially in our menstrual phase, which is what I'm in right now, so things are like extra heightened and emotional, you just have to ask yourself, like, okay, how can I self-soothe myself, and how can I give myself the love that I deserve and that I want, realistically, that I want someone else to give me. And that is where the inner child healing starts. That is where the self-soothing starts. And that is when you can really learn to stand on your own 2 feet and not rely on external validation and, other things and people and substances to make you feel better just temporarily. Why do you give your power away like that so easily? So that's just something to think about. As we get into the bulk of this episode, I want to share a little bit about my journey, I guess, of where I started. And I'm not going to go too much into this because I have done an episode on this before. I kind of want to highlight more on like the turning point of what happened in my life, I guess, the past year or two, on how, Guide Me Glow, I have got really clear on it, and how I kind of feel like really confident and in my power to know that this is, I'm going to stick to this and this is what I want to do, because it's been like a long time. The beginning of my journey with my whole health journey, like I have always grown up like super slim, super skinny, like I was not conscious of my health really, to be honest. Like I loved dancing, and that's the physical activity I loved doing. However, I did not like sport really. I did not like running. I did not like, any of that kind of thing, because in school you're like forced to do it and it's like so intense. Like I hated like intense things from a young age, which now I think about it like makes a lot of sense, because I'm just like very soft, feminine. I'm very like, I like gentle, I like slow, like that kind of thing. But when you go to school, you're just kind of thrown into it, and you're just like, you're told to just do it and you have to like it. However, I did not. And like eating wise, I was never really restricted. I mean, I do remember like not being able to eat like all the sweets or the junk food, obviously. However, it was a pretty balanced diet. I would not say it's like the healthiest. It was probably like, I would probably say like 60-40 or like 50-50, maybe 60-40. My mum always cooked homemade meals for like dinner, and it was more like traditional Chinese dinners with like rice and fish and, chicken and veg. So that was pretty healthy. But, I guess like it was still kind of like these sauces that weren't healthy and stuff like that. And then in school, we would just have like sandwiches and fruit and crisps, just like, things like that. And then because we weren't allowed like all the sweets and stuff like that after school, me and my friends would go to like the, what do they call it? The little like shops, like the newspaper shops. Oh my God, what did we call it? I think there was one called like Anderson's when near where I lived at the time. And we'd go to the pick and mix and just pick like a bag of sweets, because it was so cheap back then. It was like 1p a sweet or something like that. You would not find that anymore. And we would just pick like a bag of sweets and just eat them on our walk home, or buy like a big bag of crisps and eat them on our way home, because before we got home to our parents, because we were not allowed to do that. And to be honest, we do that every day, so it was not the best, but at the same time it's like you're a child and it's like memories, and it's just, it is what it is. But that was good. Like my relationship with food was always pretty good. I remember my mum would kind of tell me, like I have to eat everything on my plate, and I was always like a super slow eater, but she would always say like, you have to hurry up, like, as in not like you have to hurry up like all your food, but she would make a point being like I was super slow eating. So then I kind of learnt to eat a little bit faster, which I mean now I wish I did still eat slow, because it's actually really good for your digestion, but I guess now I'm just more in the habit of like eating faster. Growing up and going to uni, I was not really conscious of my health at all. I loved cooking, so it's not like I would always get takeaway, but I was not cooking, like I was not paying attention to, like, the ingredients and like sauces and stuff. Like I just loved eating like yummy food, of course. And as I was getting older, like I started to see a bit of shift in like my weight and everything, and also just how I felt energetically, and I just didn't feel like I was really taking care of myself, like, yes, I was eating like normal meals, but they were full of like either dairy or not good sauces, and definitely not like the high quality chicken and stuff like that, because you're in uni and everyone was just eating, I don't know, takeaway pizzas and oven food and stuff like that, and microwave foods. But to be honest, I feel like I was pretty good. Like I always had like vegetables and protein and everything, and I was like cooked, and I enjoyed that, and I would never really eat like microwave foods. But then I loved to snack. Like I loved like biscuits. I loved just like, I don't know, most of the time I would skip breakfast because I was in a rush, and I would just like grab like some breakfast biscuit, probably like full of sugar, whatever, and have that. And I was just not like conscious. I was not aware, of what even is a good diet. Like I didn't know back then. And I think maybe now, I don't know, because I'm obviously so much more knowledgeable about it, but I don't know if also back in those days it was that spoken about, like about healthy lifestyle and stuff. I think now the generation's kind of changed to becoming a lot more like open, and everyone kind of knows like more about healthy eating. I'm not really sure, but that's just how I feel. So then I was obviously experiencing these changes in my body, and I was like, I don't feel that good. Like I don't feel that comfortable in my body, and I definitely don't feel as confident in my body, because it's not how my body normally looks. And then I started to think, okay, well, I want to make some changes. And throughout this whole journey, I was always pretty active. I was always dancing. I was in like 2 cheerleading teams in university. In college, I guess I was not as active, to be honest. But I mean, I didn't really have problems with like body image or anything like that as much in college. I had a certain friend, and she would be talking about like diets and things like that, and the soup diet or like whatever. But to me, I was like, what is a diet? Like I just was not immersed in like the diet culture. However, growing up, I was always like a super girly girl. So I think from a young age, I was always exposed to like this idea of like a perfect girl. And my way of expressing that was through makeup and fashion. So if you don't know, like when I was 14, I started my own YouTube channel. I did like makeup tutorials and fashion and stuff. And I mean, most of them are all of them are pirated now, just because it's obviously not what I do now. And I still am super like into that, but it was almost like a way to hide my actual beauty. And I was not like, I used makeup as a way to change my appearance, not just enhance it. And I think, to be honest, like as I grew older and throughout the years, I, learned to enhance my beauty more than just like cover it in makeup kind of thing. But it definitely was coming from a place of like, wanting to be more like everyone else. And especially as an Asian woman, where I grew up, it was all Western. Like everyone around me was white, to be honest, and I was living in like a very white neighborhood, everything like this. So everyone was Caucasian, and I mean, because I grew up in that environment, it was kind of like normal. But then if you think about it, if all you see all the time is like people who do not look like you, and as a child you just want to fit in. And I was almost not proud to be Asian, and now I like love how I look, and I'm like, it doesn't matter to me at all that I'm Asian. Like I kind of love that. But it's funny, like when you're younger, you just don't really appreciate it as much because you want to be the same as everyone else. But I feel like now when you're older, you're like, oh, I like my uniqueness and everything like that. But saying that, even so, sometimes I would struggle with, seeing not many people that look like me. Because also I feel like my look is like quite unique I don't like see many people personally that like I think look like me. So it kind of makes it harder to like really truly accept yourself, because you don't see that being represented around you. So I've really had to learn to accept myself and love myself for who I am, and even if I don't see many people that look like me represented in like the media or like beauty standards or whatever. But yeah, that definitely played an effect on me when I was younger. And being such a girly girl too, I would love like all the, you know, Barbies and the girly movies, and all the main characters were like, they didn't look like me at all. And yeah, I had to, it's just definitely been a journey just to learn to love who I am and how I look, and embrace my uniqueness and my features. And I think that's when you truly learn to glow, is like when you just learn to accept yourself and not compare yourself, and just love where you are now and create your own beauty in that sense. So then, yeah, during uni and stuff, first year of uni, I was going out. I was also drinking. I don't drink anymore, but I used to drink back then, and, you know, going out, all that kind of stuff, late nights, no sleep, just a bad lifestyle. And I obviously didn't feel that good. So then nearer the end of that year, I kind of got more into like self-development and mindset. I don't know how I really came across it. I really don't know. I think I remember buying the book The Secret, and I was reading that about manifestation, and that was the first thing that taught me about it. But I really can't remember like the thing that really, how I got into like mindset, because it was kind of mindset, then body, then back into mindset, and now it's like a harmonious balance of both. But yeah, I cannot remember. Maybe it'll come back to me. But I started reading The Secret, and I remember just like being so fascinated about this. I was like, wow. And I remember like really honing into like just like being in my own energy, and I like really just wanted to be on my own a lot, to be honest. And I think before that, maybe it was YouTube that helped me discover it. Of course, I love YouTube. And I was, you know, watching these girls on like what I eat in a days, and seeing them live this amazing lifestyle. They were probably like living in Australia or Hawaii or something, you know, somewhere tropical or somewhere like super sunny. And that is always where I wanted to be. Like, I did not enjoy living in England. It's just the weather climate is just not for me. I'm sorry, but it's just not. I cannot live somewhere that's super cold, cloudy, rainy, everything at once, windy. No, it's just not for me and my skin condition. I'm not made for the cold, which is why I live on an island now. But I think it was YouTube that kind of got me into seeing more of this lifestyle. And I would love watching, when I was younger, like movies of like, you know, like my essential dream life. And then obviously YouTube became a thing, and I just started watching like vlogs and people's lives, and I was like so fascinated, you know, and I loved like watching people's lives and seeing like, oh, how do other people live in the world, you know. I remember after the first year of uni, that summer is when I started to really go into my health and fitness journey. I pretty much went from eating everything to going vegan within like a month, but it also was super easy for me to do. Like, I think if I just set my mind to something, I just do it. Obviously it was a process. I started eating no meat first, no dairy, or I think it was like no dairy, no meat, then no fish, because fish to me was like my favorite thing. And yeah, I just went vegan, and I was learning to cook healthy ingredients. I was researching so much about like recipes and healthy living and more of this like healthy plant-based lifestyle. And I started training. I was doing home workouts. I was just doing home workouts every day. And I remember at first I found it so difficult to work out every day or at all. And because I never worked out before, you know, I was only doing like dancing and things. But, you know, I was doing like trying to do this challenge of like every day I would do like 50 squats, and then like it would go up to like 100 squats or whatever, like just body weight squats, like these little challenges that really don't make that much of a difference, you know. But, you know, it's like you're getting into your fitness journey, so you're easing yourself into it. But I was doing home workouts, you know, and I was just kind of training my core. And I remember like finding it so hard to motivate myself to work out, like, because I never worked out before. And so I was like so lazy, to be honest. Like, I just didn't want to do it. And I remember like lying in bed, I was like, I have to do it. Like, I said to myself, I want to do it, so I have to do it. And I was just like, set myself a challenge, just do like 5 minutes. And I was like, just did 5 minutes. And then like, you know, obviously as time goes on and on, I started to build my endurance. I started to even like go on a run. And for me, that's a big thing because I did not like runs. And when I was younger, I had asthma and sometimes still get it, but it's more around allergies and around like animals. But like, yeah, I hated running. So I would like remember going for a run around the block and I was like dying afterwards pretty much. But this is where it starts. It's not a pretty easy process. You've got to push yourself and it's always so hard in the beginning. But I don't know, there was something inside me at that time and I was just like, I have to keep doing it and I want to improve. Like I really wanted to, I wanted it that bad. And I think it's like, that is also a thing. Like if you're not wanting it, you have to think to yourself, like, then you don't want it bad enough. Like what is holding you back? And like, are the stakes high enough? Like if you don't do this thing, what's going to happen? Because if you think to yourself, like, okay, you don't always feel like going to the gym. For example, this morning, I did not really feel like doing my workout, you know, second day of my period. I definitely listened to my body and took it slower. Like I do not recommend pushing yourself and forcing yourself to do something that is just going to put a lot of stress on your body in like a negative way. However, I have a commitment to yourself that I move my body every day. So therefore I still did it and I just accustomed my workout to something that I felt good in my body and I wanted to do. And I'm proud of myself for doing it and it felt good. And that is just a habit that didn't come from nowhere though. You know, now I've been working out pretty much consistently since then. So think about it. It's been like 10 years of this being a habit. And if you don't work out and you see my lifestyle on Instagram or whatever, YouTube, and you see that I like work out every day and I eat healthy, I've been doing this for like literally a decade. Of course it feels like second nature, but if you're just at the brink of your journey, you're just starting it, give yourself some grace and give yourself that leeway and that time to just like plan and think, okay, how can I take it step by step? Maybe it's working out like 2 times a week, then it's 3 times a week, or maybe each workout is like 20 minutes and then you build it up and up and up. So I just encourage you guys, like, just look at your journey as your own individual journey. Don't compare to someone else's journey because it's never going to be the same. It just never is the same. So I got into, you know, health and fitness like that, and obviously I started eating well as too, and before that I was like more, you know, researching what is healthy to eat, and I was eating more like plain simple things like protein, carbs, vegetables, you know, simple. However, it was not really knowledgeable. Like I was just listening to diet tips of like eating on a smaller plate or like just these things, and it was just restrictive, you know, and it was not really doing it out of love as well. Like I just wanted to see like a physical change, and yes, it definitely helped me mentally too. Like it cleared up so much of like my skin. Like I looked so glowing when I was like vegan as well. My eczema kind of went. I just felt so much more energized, and yeah, I definitely lost a lot of weight as well, lost a lot of fat, but it was all I really like thought about, to be honest. You know, I lived and breathed it. And I think I don't regret those times at all because it taught me so much about myself, and it really was like what I remember being the start of my fitness and health journey. However, looking back, it did consume so much of my brain space in my life, and it was all I cared about. And you know, I just know how important balance is. Having balance and being able to live a healthy lifestyle, yet still being able to put your focus on other things, and you know, enjoying life and being in the present is so important as well. That time was what it was meant to be, and it was still amazing for my self-growth journey because I really focused on myself, and I really, you know, learned discipline. I had to be so disciplined, and these are all skills that you learn and you develop. It's a muscle. You don't just become super disciplined about something overnight. It takes time to develop the skill, and it takes time to learn to say no. And also, like for me, for example, like no one was vegan at this stage. Like it was so hard to eat out when you're vegan, you know, and all my friends were definitely not vegan. I don't think anyone was vegan. And so like being the one that was also like the odd one out, like that also teaches you those skills. And it also shows how dedicated I was. And, you know, if I really believe in something, then I will do it. And it doesn't matter who is joining me. Even if I'm on my own, I will do it. So I think these are all like good characteristics that, you know, like that I had, and obviously I still have, but like I built on as well. But this really was the start of it. But then I started to notice, like it was really like I was really obsessive about it, and it was just like a phase. And I did it for my health. Also, you know, as you learn about the environment and your animals and stuff, it's kind of like why I stayed vegan for 3 years. But then my body was starting to crave, like it needed more vitamins. You know, I was experiencing like hair loss, even though I was taking like supplements, and I was taking B12 and everything. And I was just feeling like quite low energy, and I just didn't feel my best. And I was also I got super lean because I was then like really into my fitness routine, and I was working out like super hard, was not listening to my body. And during the time I was in uni, and I was documenting, like I had another Instagram, and I was uploading about my recipes and my fitness journey. So this before was like a job, like it wasn't a job. I had always been on social media. I knew I always had enjoyed my creative like essence, I guess. I always knew I was a creative kid, and I just intuitively would do these things. Like I did YouTube before, I did it with a friend as well. I had amazing opportunities with it. Like I remember going down to London when I was younger to like film for this brand, you know, doing like a makeup tutorial, and I got paid for it, and I was like, wow, like I was like 16, you know. So all of this was just out of passion. And I think that's one thing that I really want to say is so important. Like, do what you want to do because you're so passionate about it. Don't do it because you want money. Don't do it because everyone else is doing it. Don't do it because it's like the trending thing to do. Like, think to yourself authentically, what do I love doing? And just follow that. Because for you, it might not be creating content in the way that I create content or everyone else creates content. For you, it might be something completely different. And that might be the reason why you're not thriving. You know, that might be the reason why you're not like doing well in it or being successful in it if you've given it enough time, because it's just not authentically connected to you. And people can sense this. It's like your energy. Like right now I'm recording this podcast, and I feel like I just love doing it. Like, to me, talking is so natural. And being able to articulate the way I feel and articulate even in writing, like, it just comes natural to me, and I love it. And I love sitting in front of the camera, and I love the process of just like talking. It feels like I'm in my element, I'm in my own world, and it's just enjoyable to me. And I think that's why the podcast does so well, because people can feel that energy, and it feels real and it feels authentic, and I'm truly speaking from my heart. You know, I have obviously some notes to guide me. However, you can see on this video, I'm not looking at any notes. Like, I'm literally speaking through my memory and my heart, and like just what I feel like you need to hear. And this just comes naturally. Like, obviously it takes practice as well. However, I obviously had a calling towards it in the first place. Like, my parents definitely were not like, you know, have you ever thought about recording YouTube videos? Have you ever thought about taking photos? Of course not. They are not like that. And yeah, my parents, like my dad's definitely more creative and everything like that. But this is obviously a whole new generation of like work, you know. But it's funny how I intuitively was pulled towards this kind of work at age like 15, 14, like so young, you know, before it was a job, before influencer was a thing, before content creation was a word. Like, it's so crazy. So I think it's so important to think like, okay, no matter what my passion is, how do I like to share it? And I think that's one thing that's really going to help you in this journey. And if you want to create a business from it and like find your passion, you have to think like, what happened in my journey? And what has always been there, like since a young age, that I loved doing as well, and go back to that. Because yeah, to create like a soul aligned business and something that you're really passionate in and something that you just know is so authentic to you, you have to do the inner work, and you have to look back at like, what is my experience? What can I help people with? What can I provide value in? What do I enjoy doing most? You know, what is it that I feel like I'm naturally gifted in? What is it that I feel naturally like easy to just do? Like that is what you should look for. And so during this journey, I was documenting my food and fitness journey, but actually because I thought of it first, because then I took a bit of a break. I was doing YouTube still, but I was not, on Instagram. I only decided to create it because I moved to London for placement year, which is basically like a year of work in between uni. And I was cooking a lot, and I was like, London, there's so many more vegan options. I was like in heaven. But people were like, wow, like your recipes are so cool and you're always glowing. Like I honestly, that's how the name Guide Me Glow came from as well, because people, I'm not joking, the first thing they always say to me, like the number one compliment I always get is like, you're glowing, like your skin is glowing. They would always say like glow, glow, glowing, glow. And I was like, I don't know, maybe this is just how people see me, which is amazing. So that's how that came about. And obviously like guiding, like I love guiding people, so it just made sense. So even the name of my brand, like it came so authentically and so close to my heart. Like it came from real life. It's not just something that I just, chat GBT'd, which is nothing wrong with that either. Like it can definitely help you. But for me, I'm all about teaching people how to think of a product that is a service or something you want to do that is like literally soul aligned. No ChatGPT is going to be able to tell you that. It has to come with the heart. I was doing that and I was sharing my experience and I was growing my audience, and then influencing kind of became more of a thing, and brands were reaching out and was getting paid. And but I was still in uni, so I had to finish my uni things and balance it all. And I was also in this whole like fitness journey myself, and the journey within and the mindset and everything. And like long story short, I then went through a really difficult period when I finished uni and went back to London to work. Actually, I wasn't meant to. I actually wanted to move to Australia straight after uni, but the opportunity just wasn't there at that point. An opportunity presented itself in London, and I ended up moving there because a company had approached me to work for them around social media, and I knew that I really enjoyed social media, so I was like, I want to do social media, let's do it. And then I ended up moving to London, and I did not like it. Like I liked London, there's many good things about London that I do enjoy, and I still like London, like going there and visiting there. But for me, like I don't like the lifestyle, and I also really didn't like the job I was working at that time. It was a topic that was so unrelated to like what I was interested in, and I did 3 months for that job because for me, I cannot do something that I'm not interested in. Like you can just tell my soul is not aligned in it, and I just physically I can't show up like because I don't enjoy it. So it's really a disservice to both of us. And so after 3 months, I was like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I pretty much quit. However, I was still living in London. I still had rent to pay, and I didn't have a job, but I was like, I don't care. I know I'm gonna make it work. Like this is also a thing. You need really, really strong self-belief. And this is also before like like I had read about manifesting and stuff, but it wasn't as much of like a buzzword as now. Like this is like, I just really had to believe in myself, to be honest. And I knew that I had talent. Like I knew that my social media skills were good. I knew that my content creation skills were good. And I was like, I'm going to find a job in social media in something that I love. And it was the fitness industry. And I did. And it just worked out in the end. The job wasn't even open for like a full-time role. Like it wasn't even really a paid role. But then I just went and met the people, and then they really liked me, and they, thought I did a great job in what I was showing, and they hired me, and I literally landed my dream job. I was like creating content from home. I was making recipes from home. I was like visiting all the gyms. I had got like pretty much free gym membership to like everywhere. Like, and I was then the first time like doing events as well for like other influencers. And I was just like, I really just, created my dream job with a company. Like that is honestly how it happened. But I really had to like believe myself. I put in the work. I contacted brands. I was looking, but this all happened, I think it was like a week. That company ended for reasons, and then I basically went freelance with another company, and I was then learning more about working for myself, because then I was able to like give my own rate and talk about my own hours. So I was working, I was getting paid quite a lot, and I was working like 3 or 4 times a week. But I noticed in myself, like I did not really enjoy going to the place. I really loved to be able to work remotely and do what I want to do, and like either work from home or go to a cafe and like have my own schedule and go to the gym when I want. Like I have never been someone who works well with someone telling me what to do. I just don't like it. And I knew that, yeah, it just, I don't know, I was not feeling happy in the end, even though from, you know, seeing everything, you could say I did have a really good life and I am really grateful, but something was not fulfilling me, you know. Like I lived in London, I had a beautiful home, I was paid really well, I, you know, was working a job that I liked. However, I still felt really like, at some point I felt kind of depressed, and I would wake up and I was like, what is my purpose? Like, I don't know what my purpose is. And for me, that was really difficult. And I think this was nearer to the time when I decided to book a trip to Bali with one of my best friends at the time. And then I wanted to move to Australia. And I always had wanted to move to Australia like the whole 2 years before that. And I was like, if I don't do it now, A, I cannot experience another winter in England. I cannot do it. And B, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it, because like, why delay it? Why wait another year? You know, it's not going to just magically happen. Like an opportunity, I mean, it might, but it's not really as likely. You can create that opportunity for yourself. And I think that's also a lesson to learn, is like, it's not just waiting for something aligned to just come to you and float your way. You have to also put yourself in that position. You also have to put in some aligned work. You have to decide, I'm going to book a flight to Australia. I'm going to look at the visa situation in Australia. Like, I did it all myself, you know, and you just have to do it. And you just have to put in the work and put in the research and do it. Which is why, like, I get it. It can seem like super confronting. Like, if you've never moved before, you don't know what to do. You don't know what visa to do. You don't know, you know, how to move there. And that's why I created the Bali guide, because I know how difficult it is, especially living on an island. It's like so different. So, you know, if you're wanting to move to Bali, then definitely get the Bali guide, because it tells you everything from the visa to what to pack, to where to go, to where you live, like everything. So that is why I created that. But moving forward from London, yeah, I just was feeling super unhappy because I wasn't fulfilled. Like, I don't know, this is not really what I want to do anymore. And then I moved to Australia. I went to Bali, fell in love with Bali, but it was just a holiday. So obviously I knew I had to move to Sydney. I'd already organised everything. Moved to Sydney. That was one hell of a journey. I was there for 3 years. So many ups and downs. Wow. It didn't start, like, it started good, but then it kind of like, there was a lot of things that was involved, without going too much into detail, but it really helped me and my self-growth. Like, it forced me to grow so much. Like, it taught me so much about people. It taught me so much about myself, who to trust, like how much to give of myself. It taught me so many like skills, you know, like how to be confrontational, how to like protect my energy. I started meditating then. I started going deeper in my self-development, but this is more like spirituality. I feel like going to Sydney, that is when my whole spiritual journey started, whereas beforehand it was more just like mindset and health and fitness, you know. During that stage, also in London, I was going through disordered eating phase, and I was like binge eating because I'd been so restricted before. I was going through binge eating. I also had gained like a lot of weight due to like eating so much, and it was just like puffy and I was inflamed. However, I was able to balance my hormones coming off going vegan. That's why I stopped being vegan, because of my hormones. And yeah, that was a whole journey as well, like starting to eat animal products again. Like, that was a whole mental thing. You see how this like journey is just like so many different things that have led me to who I am now. It was a chaotic journey. Like, it's always up and down, I'm not gonna lie. And so when people say to me like, how do you stay so calm and like just present in moments, and just, it's because I feel like I've just gone through a lot, to be honest. And I know that through all this experience, no matter what happens, like, I'm gonna be okay. So actually there's no point in stressing so much. There's no point in like worrying so much, because whatever happens, it will happen, and it will happen in the way that it's meant to happen for you. And I think it's important just to remember that. And so, yeah, I moved to Sydney and I went through my journey. I was still struggling with body image so much. through my job as well. I was doing modeling more at this point as well, and also like in London, but more so here as well. And, just being surrounded like in that industry, I was finding myself like comparing and just like all these kind of like negative self-talk, and always like feeling like I was not good enough. I was training so much and my body was changing from like sometimes smaller, sometimes bigger, and it was like hard for me to see, and like for my body to even know like what is safe. Like I didn't feel safe in my body, and I was also like searching outside of me for all the answers. I was looking at what other people were doing and not really listening to myself. It was in the journey though, like I was, from the process of moving from London to Sydney, like I was learning more about intuitive eating. Moving to Bali massively helped heal my eating journey because I was not really as in control. Because if you think about it, the root cause is like when you are so controlled around eating or whatever it is, it's about control, and I must have not felt control in other areas of my life. So food was the thing that I could control. And with Bali, it helped me just like listen to my body. I was not training the same regular routine that I was doing back then. I was able to rest a lot more. I was doing workouts with friends. It seemed more fun. And I did lose weight in those 3 weeks because my body would just felt more like at home and less stressed. And I just kind of moved to Sydney, and that was a whole experience and journey of like the first time moving abroad, properly, and having that experience and meeting new people and finding, many things about myself and other people, and that was a whole journey. And it taught me to let go a lot more as well. And I think also in that time, I really let go of my old life that was kind of like in England, and I kind of stepped into this new version of myself, and it just kind of got better and better and better. And it definitely was up and down. It was definitely not a straight uphill journey at all. However, I got there in the end, and I remember this is kind of how I started Guide Me Glow as well. I was super interested in holistic health healing, and I studied to become a holistic health coach. It was integrative nutrition, so it was blending holistic, spiritual and also Western medicine. So I learned a lot about nutrition, and not only nutrition, but my mind as well, and, why people binge eat, and, about food as well, like how important it is to eat like whole foods and where your food is coming from and the energy around the food and movement, like so much knowledge. It was amazing. And this really helped heal myself as well. And I also got into like really good healthy habits. I was reading every single day. I was meditating. I was journaling. I've been journaling for a long time, but I was like really in my routine and really fully focused on myself. And and then I kind of manifested a lot of amazing things in my life, and that's how Guide Me Glow was created. And it took me a while to also find the journey of what it is now. I always wanted it to be something that spoke from my heart and was so aligned to myself that I didn't do anything with it for a while. Like I'd created the name, the account, everything like that. And I was kind of just posting like, cool pictures that I felt like was kind of like a mood board inspo, because for me, like I love being creative aesthetically as well. So it kind of started as like a mood board wellness account. And I never had thought of coaching back then. I didn't want to do coaching. I just wanted to share my knowledge and spread like awareness of my way of living and what I felt like helped me. Sorry guys, my camera cut out. So if you're watching the video version, it's just gonna go blank for a bit, but I'm charging the camera, so hopefully I'll be able to record the video again. But as I was saying, I was going through the journey, and I wanted the account to really symbolize me and be so close to, my journey. And it went through, many phases. I first thought I wanted to help people with, their body image and intuitive eating and healing the relationship with food, which I still do, but it's not the main thing. I was also in like the entertainment and fashion industry, like being an influencer. And that's also something that I did, because like I noticed like your career is also so linked to your health, like for me as a creative and an entrepreneur and, doing my own thing, that massively impacts the way that I feel and my mindset and the way I want to train and my body image and everything. It all is 360. That's why holistic health is like, it is really the answer. And I know that so many girls who run their own businesses and figuring out what they want to do and trying to make a living for themselves, I know how difficult it is, and I know how like emotional it is, and sometimes you really don't know what to do, and you're left there with like nothing, because I didn't start from anything. Like I was not, I didn't start from a lot of money. I did not have like savings, really, like nothing. And I feel like so many times I've started over and over again from zero, and you just have to take that risk. Like, there is no other answer. Like, if you have, savings, and if you have, that privilege, that is also amazing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either, but you just have to do what you have to do with what you're given right now. You cannot wait for things to come to you. Like, if you want something, you have to go and get it yourself. And so, yeah, I was just got really good at risk taking, to be honest. Like, I would, sometimes leave things to maybe something people think too last minute. It would stress them out, but I just got good at handling stress, to be honest. And now one of my goals is really just to centralize my nervous system and calm my nervous system, and not feel like I have to be like on a stress mode all the time, because I think that really impacts also, like, obviously your health and your body and how it looks and inflammation and everything like that. However, there's times in your life where you just have to do it. There's no other answer around it. You just have to do it. And so there's so many times when I didn't know what I was doing, but I took a lot of time to myself. I think I spent like pretty much a whole year dedicated, or 1 or 2 years, like solely dedicated to my self-development. I was listening to podcasts every day. Every single day I was listening to a podcast. I was, journaling. I was finding out more about myself. I was just learning more, and like, I was just really dedicated, to be honest. And I did not focus much on anywhere or anyone else. And obviously I had friends and I was living life and doing fun things still, but I really got to know myself. I think it's just one of those things. I don't know. For me, I guess I can get quite like hyper focused. If I'm really into something, I will just focus all my attention on that and energy on that. But it's also just like a journey in itself, and you have to be dedicated. And as Guide Me Glow was kind of growing with me, I released my first ebook during like COVID. It was like 2021, I think I released it. It was the 63-day glow guide mindset. It's still out, and it's still packed full with amazing knowledge, and I think it would help many people with their relationship with food. It's a lot about reprogramming your mind and like building these habits to heal your mindset and your relationship with food. But then from that, I also was figuring out, I was like growing on social media. I was working as an influencer full-time for a year at the end of my last year of Australia. And then after that, I was craving a change. I was like, I don't feel connected to Sydney anymore. People wise, I feel like I still have found it hard to really connect to people, and that's something that I've always found throughout my life, to be honest. But especially when I moved to London and Sydney, I always had wanted to create like a community of girls who were like-minded, people who were into fashion and beauty, and creating content, and just like going out for dinner and still going out and looking cute and all the girl things, but then also balancing that they were also like super self-aware and into mindset and into healthy eating, and took care of themselves and had high standards and boundaries. Like, you can have both, but I felt like there was a gap. It was either like the fashion industry and the entertainment industry, and people were like really into partying and just like not conscious about like the decisions that they were making, and just talking about things that I just didn't want to talk about. Or you went the other way, where it was like almost like a bit, in my opinion, like too much, where I was like, people were like really, really into their like spirituality and yoga and, this like really heightened wellness thing, which is amazing. But then there was no balance. Like, I could not imagine going out with these people or like just talking about like girl things. I'm by no means saying that it's bad, either way, you do you, honey. But I mean, like, for me, I did not feel that connection. And so I was like, I need to create a community of people like this. And being in that fashion industry, like, most of my friends were in the industry, so we were all doing modeling or influencing or something. And I just noticed like how bad the industry was around like self-image and body image. Like, I don't think I've ever met one girl who hasn't had some sort of like eating disorder or like bad body image thoughts or comparison, or wants to change themselves in some way. And it's just so sad. Like, why do we feel like we have to change ourselves? And especially now in the society where, you know, for example, like fillers and Botox and everything, it's become so normal now. And again, I do not judge anyone for doing these things. Like, I know a lot of people who do these things and I don't judge them for it. You do you, as I said. However, for me, I'm like, if you're doing it because you feel pressure to look a certain way, or, you know, from society, like, I like don't want you to feel that way. Like, you should do it because you want to do it, like out of love, like not because you feel like you have to change because, you know, this is trending right now, or like fuller lips are trending, whatever. And I just feel like we are put on this universe for a reason of how we look. And yes, we can improve. That's why I believe in like natural improvement. So like gua sha, like facial massages, working out, eating healthy. Like, that's how I believe you should glow up. That's the way that I believe like natural beauty is. And also I think that's also our prime. Like, that's who we are as our essence, as our inner goddess. But to then feel like we need to change just because other people look this way or whatever, like, I don't agree with that. And for me, it's so important to educate women in this way, because I'm like, you are literally enough as you are now, and you are fine as you are now. However, if you do not feel good in yourself right now, due to, you know, because you know you're not putting in the work, then that's where we can change things, because you can change. It might seem impossible right now, but you'll get there, and there's always a way out. And so that's how I created Guide Me Glow. I was like, I want to raise more awareness of these like habits that I do that have helped me, you know, and also like relate to people in this industry as well. Because I think if you're not familiar with, you know, the wellness things of like journaling and meditation, like it all can seem a bit like woo-woo and, you know, too spiritual and like, oh, that's not my thing. However, I would like to make it more of an everyday thing. Like, it's just a thing, you know, it's just a wellness girly. You just do it. Or you don't even have to label yourself as a wellness journey. Like, you just see it as a tool for you to level up and become your best self. Like, who does not want to become their best self? So that is, you know, how it came along. And then I started obviously the podcast back in Sydney, and I just wanted to share my views and, you know, gain knowledge from other people. And that started doing really well. And then I started one-on-one coaching. I just wanted to experiment with it, and I really enjoy that. Like, helping people one-on-one reach their goals is really amazing. Like, hearing people's goals and also seeing it come to fruition is amazing. And also I started the membership club because I just knew like my goals. I wanted time, location, and obviously financial freedom. And for me, I saw that as like a business opportunity that would be able to give me that. So that's why this year I'm really building that out as well, and obviously attracting girls and doing events here and there to gain, you know, more of a closeness to the girls, and building that community and sharing what, you know, I have to give in person. I think like real life presence is so different as well, like the energy exchange. And I really, really love doing events as well. That's also something that I feel like comes natural to me in my personality. I actually wanted to be an event planner when I was younger. So I kind of have, you know, formulated all these things into one of my own. I've kind of created my own job, I suppose, which is kind of amazing. And it just shows that you can do anything you want, to be honest. And as long as you believe in it, as long as you're providing value to people, it's possible and you can do it. You just have to make sure you're doing it authentic to you, because also if you're not doing it authentic to you, and when I mean that, I mean like copying other people, which I have experienced. You know, of course other people have copied me in like my work and I see it, so obviously it's like obvious, you know, like so obvious. And I mean, I cannot do anything about that obviously, but at the same time you have to ask yourself, like, why would you want your business to be like someone else's when that is not authentic to you? And I think energetically it just won't do that well, because I think people will just know it's not authentic to you. And I don't know, I think it's also like a respect thing. Like, you can take inspiration from people's work, of course, like I do as well. However, straight up copying is just like not okay. and you really have to just like question yourself and your authenticity, and just like look a bit deeper and just do something that comes from your heart. And you know, the more you're just going to lose yourself more and more if you just see other people's things and just take it as your own, because it's like a mask of yourself, you know. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. We all have done something like that in some capacity in some point of our lives, but I think as we get older we obviously learn, like, you know, you want what you want to do to be close to yourself. And as I say, energy never lies, so you just have to keep that in mind and just do the things that make you feel most aligned with your authentic self. And how I got to where I am now is just through continuous pushing through, consistency, learning more about myself, pushing myself to learn more, also like not forcing things so much. I've really learned how to intuitively run my business, but also like I'm still learning so much. Like, to me, I feel still so much in the beginning phases of my career. Like, this really is the beginning, and I have big visions for Guide Me Glow and other things that I have in my mind as well. And I really just see this as the beginning of me like almost testing things out and trying things and finding my feet and finding my iconic style and everything like that. And I just try, and really that's just it. I just try. I see what lands well, you know, chop and change, but also keeping it authentic to myself and keeping somewhat similar consistency, brand consistency, learning about new, you know, marketing things, and just surrounding myself with people who also do the same thing and can also teach me things, and vice versa. You see how it's all just like a holistic thing. Like, everything that you have in your life needs to coincide with your goals. If you have one thing that's unaligned, you cannot just ignore it. Like, it's going to make a difference and it's going to hold you back. And I think the whole point of me speaking about this journey, we've been talking for so long now, like I feel like I'm only at the beginning of, you know, what I can talk about. I could talk about this for hours, but basically it's like you need to take the decision to take the leap, and you don't have to have it all figured out. No one has it all figured out. I do not have it all figured out. However, I still make somewhat of a plan and just try and move forward and take actions. All it takes. You never know, one thing can just blow up, and that could be it. Moving to Bali was such an intuitive feeling for me to do, and it was honestly, yeah, obviously one of the best decisions I decided to do, because I love living in Bali. But it's been such a journey. Like, who I was when I first moved to Bali 2.5 years ago, I guess, is so different to who I am now. But at the same time, there's obviously a lot of similarities and a lot of traits, and, you know, I still hold the same characters and everything like that. However, my way of thinking and my mindset and how I see myself and what I do and everything is different. And I will say though, you can build this mindset on your own, and you can think, yeah, I think like this, and I have high standards and high boundaries, and I'm gonna do this. But then the moment you step out into the real world, like into the 3D reality as it is now, that is the real test to see how much you have changed. Do you still react to scenarios the same way, or do you react differently? And that is where the inner work really shows. And you really have to just heal from the inside, you know. The mindset is where it first starts, and that's why with my clients I work with the mindset first. So much is inner then outer. And I healed my relationship with food completely. I'm so proud of that, because I remember like when I was in the depth of it, I was like, didn't see a way out. I was like, wow, like how? And I did it. And I feel like I have a very healthy relationship with food now, and I know what works for me, and I love eating healthy. I love eating whole foods. You know, I don't force anything. It's just when I'm hungry, I'll eat something that I feel like is a good decision in that time. And I also don't restrict. And obviously the continuing, I'm still learning to love my body more and more every day. I'm still loving to learn myself more and more every day. And it's just through continuous tests and lessons from the universe. And yeah, I hope this really has resonated with you guys. I'm aware that the podcast episode is very long now, so I'm going to cut this very shortly and I'm going to wrap it up. But I hope this story, a very quick, overview of my story in the past 5 years has really helped. Of course, the story has so much more to it than what I've just said, but we only have an hour, guys. So yeah, I hope this has resonated with a lot of you and has helped you, give you hope, give you inspiration, give you motivation that, you don't have to have it all figured out, and you can just make a decision to just change your life. If you're not thriving in the environment that you're at, then change your environment. You don't have to stay where you are. Things don't have to stay and the same just because it's always been like that, just because someone's told you that way. No, you get to decide if you want to change your character, if you want to change the way that you do things, if you want to change anything. Just decide, okay, from now on, I'm this type of person, and I'm not going to do this anymore because I'm this type of person. And it's just about reprogramming your mind, your subconscious, to believing it until it's true. And that is really the secret. So, yeah, now I help women like you create their own version of a dream life, whether it's building a business, healing your mindset and body image, moving to your dream location. It's all coincided. So if you're ready to stop holding back and start building the life you've always wanted, I would be honored to guide you. My coaching programs are designed to help you reprogram limiting beliefs, develop your confidence, and take aligned action towards your goals. We help you build your goals, understand what it is. We help you figure out what it is that you want to do. We go through mindset exercises. We go through personal branding. We take you through all of that. Whether you're starting your business or also if you already have a business and you're looking to, find more balance in your life again, you've been paying too much attention in your business and neglecting your own self, and you feel like not your best self and you're falling out of, the good habits. I also help people with that. So yeah, if you're listening to this, I feel like this is a sign. And if you feel deeply resonated with this, I also feel like it's a sign. So to sign up for January's coaching, January into Feb, because we're already mid-Jan, then go to the link in the bio and you can book a discovery call and we can chat about your goals and how we can work together. My programs are 12 weeks, so it's enough time for us to really dive deep into the root causes and, get real results. I don't believe in quick results. It's not sustainable. So yeah, head to the link in bio and book a discovery call, and we can make 2025 the year you finally glow up and create the life you've been dreaming about. Because you say it every year, it doesn't happen. So at what point are you just gonna invest in yourself and create that change in your life forever? This coaching program isn't just a 12-week program and it's just something you do for 12 weeks. It's really going to change the rest of your life. It's going to change you as a person, and that is an investment I would do any day, because you're investing in yourself, truly. It's not about just changing some habits and falling off. You're literally reprogramming your mind in the way you think, and the way you think is how the rest of your life kind of goes. So when you change the way you think, your life changes and your reality changes, and you could be in a complete new reality in 3 to 6 months. It's crazy. You can change your life, and that's where it all starts. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. This was definitely a more personal episode, touched deeper into my life and the journey of how I got to where I am now. If you have any more questions, you can definitely DM me, and I can maybe do another episode if I get a lot of questions, maybe a little Q&A. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the week, and don't forget to book that discovery call to change your life and take that commitment and step forward to yourself, because you truly do deserve it. When we invest in ourselves, it's a sign to the universe to be I'm ready to change, and I'm committing myself. When you take that action step, it really is more of an energetic sign to be I trust in myself and I'm committed to myself, and that is where the magic starts happening. So I really appreciate your time for listening to this. 1111. And I look forward to speaking to you guys in the next episode. Don't forget to follow the podcast, give it a 5-star rating, or if you're watching on YouTube, comment, like, subscribe, all of the things, and I'll see you in the next episode. Mwah.